Good day, everyone. I am Diana Buansay Diel.
And here's the summary of the first voyage around the world by Ferdinand Magellan. Ferdinand Magellan is the one who known for being an explorer for Portugal and who discovered the Strait of Magellan while leading the first expedition to successful circumnavigate the global. Siya ang naging unang European na naglayag sa Karagatang Pasipiko at ang unang naglayag sa mundo. Ang paglayag ni Magellan ay nagpapatunay na ang daigdig ay bilog. Ipinanganak siya noong 1480. Ang kanyang lugar na kapanganakan ay naitala sa Sobrasa o Portugal sa Portugal. Ferdinand Magellan arrived in the Philippines in 1521. He landed on the island of Cebu, claiming the lands for Spain and naming them Isla de San Lazareno. Nakipagkaibigan siya sa iilan sa mga lokal na pinuno at ginawang Katolismo. First voyage around the world, the document reveals several insights not just in the character of the Philippines during the pre-colonial period, but also on how the fresh eye of the European regard a deeply unfamiliar terrain, environment, people, and culture. Ang first voyage around the world of Magellan ay naglalahad ng ilang pananaw, hindi lamang sa katangian ng Pilipinas noong panahon ng pre-colonial. Ang salaysay na ito ay isa sa mga pinakamagandang matuklasan natin na pagkukunan ng aral, dahil ito ang salaysay ni Pigafetta noong unang paglakbay nila sa ating bansa. Ladrones Island. Presently known as Marianas Island, it is located southeast of Japan, southwest of Hawaii, north of New Guinea, and west of Philippines. Ladrones Island or Marianas are a crescent-shaped archipelago comprising the summit of 15 mostly dormant volcanic mountains in the western North Pacific Ocean between the 12 and 21 parallel north. Kaya natawag o tinawag ni Magellan ang Isla de Ladrones o Island Thieves dahil ang mga katutubo dito ay ninanakawan ng kanilang barko. Ito ay matatagpuan sa timog silangan ng Hawaii. Noong Marso 16, 1521 ay nagpasya ang New Summerborn Magellan na dumaong sa isang hindi sinasadyang isla para sa higit na seguridad kung saan maaari silang magpahinga ng ilang araw. Ikinuwento ni Pigafetta na makalipas ang 2 araw, Marso 18, siyang na lalaki ang pumunta sa kanila at nagpakita ng saya at pananambik na makita sila. Napagtanto ni Magellan na makatwira ng mga lalaki at tinanggap sila ng pagkain, inumin at regalo. Ang mga katutubo naman ay nagbigay ng isda, palm wine, igos at 2 choco. And the next is balangay. Balangay is a plank boat adjoined by a carved-out plant aged through pins and dowel. It was first mentioned in the 16th century in the Chronicles of Pigafetta. The balangay is the oldest water crop found in the Philippines. Ang balangay ay isang malaking bangka na ginamit sa pagtawid sa karagatan ng mga sinaunang Pilipino. So the next is Raya Calambu. The island of this king is named Juluan and Calagan, and when these two kings wish to visit one another, they come to hunt in this island, where we were of this king or the fainted king is called Raya Calambu and the other Raya Sian. Si Raya Calambu ay isang hari sa Juluan at Calagan, Butuan at Caragua. Ang unang hari ay si Raya Siago. Noong ika-31 ng Marso na nagkataong linggo ng Pasko ng pagkabuhay, inutusan ni Magellan ang chaplain na manguna sa isang misa sa baybayin. On April 7, 1521, from Mazawa, Ferdinand Magellan landed in Cebu. At that time, Cebu was already an entrepôt of Oriental trade. Magellan met with the leader of Cebu, Raha Humabon, and entered into another blood compact na symbols of friendship. Noong April 7, narating ni Magellan at ng kanyang mga tauhan ang daungan ng Cebu, ang pinakamalaki at pinakamayaman sa mga isla sa tulong ni Raha Kalumbag. Noong ika-14 ng April, ang mga tao ay nagtipon kasama ang hari at iba pang mga punong lalaki ng mga isla. Kinausap ni Magellan ang hari at hinimok siya na maging isang mabuting Kristiyano sa pamamagitan ng pagsunod sa lahat ng mga Diyos-Diyosan at sa halip ay sambahin ang krus. Ang hari ng Cebu noon ay bininyagan bilang isang Kristiyano. Makalipas ang ilang buwan, dumating ang mga pwersa ni Magellan sa Mactan. Sa Mactan mismo upang labanan ang nasabing hepe. Dumating ang mga pwersa ni Magellan sa Mactan sa liwanag ng araw. Nasabi dito, isinalaysay ni Pigafetta, pagdating namin sa lupain, nakita namin ang mga taga-isla na 1500 ang bilang na nakaayos sa 3 skwadron. Sila ay bumaba sa amin na may kagilakilabot na mga sigaw. 2 skwadron na umaatake sa amin sa flanks at ang pangatlo sa harap. Pagkatapos ay hinati ng kapitan ng kanyang mga tauhan sa 2 pangkat. Ang aming musketeer at crossbowmen ay nagpaputok ng kalahating oras mula sa malayo, ngunit walang nagawa dahil ang mga bala at palaso dahil na dumaan sila sa kanilang mga kalasag na gawa sa manipis na kahoy at marahil ay nasugatan ang kanilang mga braso, ngunit hindi sila napigilan. Sumigaw ang kapitan na huwag magpaputok ngunit hindi siya pinakinggan. Sa huling sandali, si Magellan ay namatay sa pakikipaglaban sa mga katutubo. Kaya ito ang nasabing the first voyage around the world, ang unang paglalakbay ni Magellan at ang kanyang huling pagkamatay.
Good day, everyone. So now, let's proceed to the lesson analysis of Pigapetta's Chronicle. The best storyteller is the one who not only know the story but saw it. That's why Pigapetta's work is very important, not only as a source of information about voyage itself, but also include an early Western descriptions of the people and language of our country, which is the Philippines. Pigapetta's Chronicle is one of a cited documents by historians who wish to study pre-colonial Philippines and one of the earliest written accounts. So, that's why Pigapetta's Chronicle is one of the most frequently mentioned documents by historians researching the pre-colonial Philippines. And Pigapetta's was seen as a credible source period, which prior unchronicled and undocumented, and also it is earliest detailed documentation. It was believed that Pigapetta's writing account for the purest pre-colonial society, and Pigapetta's work is great important in study and writing of Philippine history. We should recognize certain biases accompanying the author and his identity, loyalties, and the circumstances that he was in and how it affected. We need to understand that he was a chronicler commissioned by the King of Spain to accompany and documents a voyage intended to expand the Spanish Empire, a noble descent who came from a rich family in Italy. So as a reader, we must understand that Pigafetta was a chronicler commissioned by the King of Spain to attend and document a voyage aimed at expanding the Spanish dominion. He was also of a noble descent, descended from a wealthy Italian family. These attributes influence his narrative, his selection of details to be included in the text, his characterization of the people and of the spaces that he encountered, his interpretation and retelling the events. Being a scholar of cartography and geography, Pigafetta was able to give details on geography and climates of the place that their voyage has reached. Pigapetta's description to the people was coming from 16th century European perspective, regarded the indigenous belief system and way of life as inferior to Christianity and of European. He always remarks on the nakedness of natives or how he was fascinated by their exotic culture. So Pigapetas always remarking on the Indians' nakedness or how impressed he was by their strange culture. He emphasized the natives' amazement and illiteracy to the European artillery, merchandise, and other goods. He repeatedly mentioned the abundance of spices like ginger and of precious metal like gold. When they saw the indigenous attires of the natives, Vegapeta saw them as being naked because from the European standpoint, they were wearing fewer clothes. Pigafetta's perspective was to realize that such attire was only appropriate to the tropical climate of the islands. The same for the metals that the native used for their house like palm and bamboo that would let more air come through the house compensate for the hot climate in the island. We should understand that such observations were rooted from the context of Pigafetta and his era. In Europe, dominated by the Holy Roman Empire, loyalty and purpose was the domination of Catholic all over the world. Other belief systems different from that of Christianity were perceived to the blasphemous and barbaric, even demonic. 16th century, European economy was mercantilist system measured that wealth of kingdom based on or precious metal like gold and silver. Precious metal like gold and silver is used to calculate a kingdom's wealth. That's why Pigapetas always mentioned the abundance of gold in the island as shown in his description of a leader wearing gold ring and gold digger and of the gold mine. Pigapetas always mentioned the quality of gold in the islands as evidenced by his description of a leader wearing gold ring and gold digger. An empire like Spain would indeed search for new land where they could acquire more gold and wealth to be on top of all the European nations. The obsession with spices might to be odd for Filipinos because of its ordinaries in the Philippines, but understanding the context would reveal that spices were scarce in the Europe.
Superiority in knowledge, wealth, and beauty are to be understood, but not superiority by nature. Number 5. The honorable man prefers honor to personal gain, the scoundrel gain to honor. A good person must understand that honoring oneself also means he or she values honor rather than personal interest. True honor means having a high moral standard behavior. Number 6. To the honorable man, his word is sacred. The rule number 6 tells us that we must be a man of our own words. Wherever said must be done. We must do things that we promise because we can never take back what we have been said. So walk the talk. Number 7. Do not waste thy time. Wealth can be recovered but not time lost. Everyone must understand the importance of time. We usually focus ourselves on worrying from different material things. This code of conduct tells us to treasure time because we can never take it back. At the end, we might end up having regretting for the things we weren't able to do. We have made use of our time wisely. Number 8. Defend the oppressed and fight the oppressor before the law or in the field. We don't have the same strengths, but we can help one another. We must choose to fight for what is right. Fight with the weak people who need your help and comfort, and fight those people who keep on putting others down highlights the importance of trust and confidentiality. A wise man is a man who thinks of what he says and keeps what is needed to be kept. Number 10. On the thorny path of life, man is the guide of woman and the children. And if the guide leads to the precipice, those whom he guides will also go there. All of us to be a model of everyone, because wherever they saw in us will also be followed by the people who sees us. And a true man leads his family to the right path by showing them that is right use. Number 11. Thou must not look upon woman as a mere plaything, but as a faithful companion who will share with thee the penalties of life. Her weakness will increase thy interest in her, and she will remind thee of the mother who bore thee and reared thee. The principle is about women, that every woman deserves to be respected, and no man shall see them as an object nor a pastime. Just like what I always say, a man who don't respect a woman do not respect his mother who gave him birth. Girls deserve to be loved with full respect and care. Number 12. Want to those not desire than unto thy wife, children, brothers, and sisters, that do not unto the wife, children, brothers, and sisters of thy neighbor. Every action that any man does is important.
So, let's proceed to lesson analysis of Kartilya ng Katipunan. Kartilya ng Katipunan was primarily written by Andres Bonifacio. Emilio Jacinto later made revisions, creating a new rulebook known as Decalogy. It served as a guidebook for newcomers to those people who are willing to join the group. The original has 14 paragraphs that contain the values that a Katipunero should have. Each paragraph is unique in such a way that they tackle different aspects of a person's life, in which case anyone may have different interpretation. Hence, it is only appropriate to have a better understanding or explanation to each content. Analyze the Kartilya ng Katipunan, similar to what we have done to the account of the Philippines. This primary result also needs to be analyzed in terms of content and context. As a document written for a fraternity whose main purpose is to overthrow a colonial regime, we can explain the content and division of the Kartilya, reaction and response to a certain values system that they found the despicable present state of things that they struggled against. For example, in the 4th and 13th rule of Kartilya are an invocation of the inherent equality between and among men regardless of race, occupation, or status in the context of the Spanish colonial era, where the Indios were treated as the inferior of the white European. The Katipunan saw to it that the alternative order that they wished to propagate through their revolution necessarily destroyed this kind of unjust hierarchy. For instance, in the 4th and 13th rule of Kartilya are indication of the inherent equality between among men, regardless of race, occupation, or state. It means that in the 4th rules, the highlight are equality. Every Katipunero are treated equally no matter what race or educational background he has. No one other hand, the 13th principle is about having the right character. A Katipunero's life is not measured by what is his status in life, nor with the things that he possesses instead. Magna Carta repeatedly emphasized the importance of honor and in action. The teaching of Katipunan, women should be treated with honor and respect, but while positive in many aspects and certainly a significant stride hakbang from the practices of raping and physically abusing women can still be telling of the secondary regards for women in relation to men. Example, the 10th rule it states in document that is all about being able to lead a family. Men should be the guide of women and children, and he should be a great example of them. A Katipunero must lead his family in the right path if the leader pursues for elder. So there's his followers. However, in the same document, it is stated that the woman should be treated as a companion by men, kasama ng lalaki, partner, kumbaga, and not just a toy or plaything that can be satisfied their pleasure.
Good day everyone, especially to you sir, and Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ismail Baymor. My report for today is all about reading the proclamation of the Philippines Independence Day. So every year the country commemorates the anniversary of the Philippine Independence Day, proclaimed on June 12, 1898 in province of Cavite. So the primary document of the proclamation of Independence Day is the document that consists of information about the Filipino rebels that lead to the Declaration of Independence and Sovereignty of the Philippines Island from Spain. So every year, the Independence Day was celebrated every June 12. Ito ang unang piniroclaim ng sinaunang Republic President of the Philippines na si Emilio Aguinaldo sa lungsod ng Cavite. So, indeed, such an event is a significant turning point in the story of country because it signed the end of the 333 years of the Spanish colonizations. There have been numerous studies done on the events leading the independence of the declaration. Interestingly, reading the details of the said document in hindsight in telling of the kind of government that was created under the Aguinaldos and forthcoming hand of the United States of America in the next few years of the newly created public. The declaration was a short 200 words document which summarized the reason behind the revolution against Spain that was for independence and the future of the new republic under Emilio Aguinaldo. So, Emilio Aguinaldo ay pinaglaban ang bansa natin sa katunayan ang naturang kaganapan noong June 12. Noong unang panahon ay isa lamang makabuluhang na pagbabago sa kasaysayan ng bansa natin. So, dahil ito ay lumagda sa pagtatapos na 333 na taon sa kolonyalismo sa pamamagitan ng mga Espanyol. So, nagtapos ang kabuluhan sa noong 333. So maraming mga noong sinaunang panahon sa pamumuno ni Emilio Aguinaldo is maraming mga pinag-aralan ginawa sa mga kaganapan noon na humantong sa pagsasarili ng mga deklarasyon. So maraming mga pinag-aaralan na mga pagsusulat noon na nagawang magsariling deklarasyon ng bawat mga republika ng Pilipinas. So ang deklarasyon ay isang maikling ang pagdeklara sa Philippines Independence Day is mahigit 200 na salita ng mga dokumento na nagpapainit sa dahilan sa likod ng revolusyon laban sa Espanya ang para sa kalayaan at kinabukasan ng bagong republika sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Emilio Aguinaldo. So that time is maraming mga sulat or maikling mga salita na dokumento sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Emilio Aguinaldo. Already were out bearing the ominous yoke of Spanish domination on account of the arbitrary arrest, that harsh treatment. So, this part is yung mga sinalaysay ng mga dokumento na yon, ang paglaganap ng kilusan and electric spark sa iba't ibang bayan at probinsya tulad ng Bataan, Pampanga, Batangas, Laguna, Bulacan at Morón, at ang mabilis na paghina ng mga pwersa ng Espanyol. So dahil sa light and electric spark is humina ang mga pwersa ng mga Espanyol sa kadahilanan sa ginawa ng mga paglaganap ng dokumentong kilusan. So, nabanggit din sa mga dokumento na ang pagbitay sa kay Jose Rizal. So, sinalaysay o nakasulat din sa dokumento ang Cavite Mutiny noong January 1872 na naging sanhi ng karumal-dumal na pagbitay sa mga katutubong mga pari. So, noong January 1872 is pinatay ang mga katutubong mga pari na sina Jose Burgos, Mariano Gomez at Jacinto Zamora. So, pinatay ang mga pari na ito, martir na mga pari na ito. So, ang proklamasyon ng kalayaan ay humilok din ang itinatag na republika ng namumuno sa ilalim ng diktador na si Emilio Aguinaldo. So, isa sa pinaka symbol ng Independence Day is ang ating pambansang watawat na bawat iginuhit dito ay meron siyang kahulugan, or ang watawat ng Pilipinas ay sa pinakamahalagang simbol ng kalayaan. So, bawat may kahulugan. So, tulad ng tatlong bituin na ito. So, ang tatlong bituin na ito is the three stars represent the three principal island of this archipelago. So, the three stars is one is Luzon, two Visayas and Mindanao and Panay, in which instructional movement broke out. The subrepresent gigantic strides that have been made by the son of this land on the road of progress and civilization. It is the eighth Rawa, symbolizing the 8th province of Manila, Cavite, Bulacan, Pampanga, Nueva Ecija, Bataan, Laguna, and Batangas.
Good day, everyone. So now, let's proceed to the analysis of the Proclamation of the Philippines Independence. Declaration of Philippine Independence was first written by Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista, also known as Don Bosyong, translated by Sulpicio Guevara, an author, born on year 1904. The Declaration of Philippine Independence was proclaimed on 12th of June, year 1998 in Cavite, or Kawit, Cavite, at balcony of General Emilio Aguinaldo's residence. The Declaration of Philippine Independence was proclaimed and solemnized by the War Councilor and the Special Delegate Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista by the dictatorial government of the Philippines. declaration was signed by 98 persons. Thousands of people from the province gathered in Kawit, Cavite to witness the historic event. The military, representative of various towns, and other civil officials were in attendance to witness the said historic event. This declaration has a purpose to proclaim the sovereignty and independence of the Philippines from the colonial rules of the Spanish Empire. Declaration of Philippine Independence is a government-issued document. The purpose of this document is to remind the colonists, and the whole world that Philippines declared independence from the colonists. The declaration included the list of grievances against the Spanish government stretching back to the explorer Ferdinand Magellan's arrival on 1521. It is very important in our whole country because it is served as a proof of being independence of our country from the colonists. This document summarizes and expresses all about the events happened during conquest by the colonists in 300 years. This government-issued document can prove us that our country and ourselves were free from the colonies and implies that we have the right to live without hindrances and we have also equality. It teaches us to be more independent and to fight for ourselves and our country in order to exercise our right to live with a freedom, peace of mind, and unity with others.